What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk. And here today, it's Saturday, March 21st, 2026, and this is episode 108. And I'm with Keegan Kropp, Carson Kropp. I'm Cody Kropp, and we got a free agency review for you here today. So we're going to go over every NFL free agent that got signed, re-signed, etc. And we'll talk about what we like, maybe what we don't like, and we'll just go through each team and talk about it.
Carson, why do we like free agency so much?
Free agency is great foreplay to the NFL draft, and we love the NFL draft. Yeah. And when you love something so much, it makes the foreplay so much more special.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
So much better.
Yeah.
And this free agency was incredible. So
yeah, and it gives you a lot of looks into the draft and what teams are thinking. I'm going to touch on some of that foreplay today.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to the AFC East to starting off with the Buffalo Bills. They re-signed quarterback Kyle Allen, tight end Dawson Knox to a new 3-year contract worth $20 million with $13.46 guaranteed. Knox's previous deal would have been done after 2026. Center Connor McGovern, he went for a 4-year, $52 million deal that includes $32 million guaranteed, and kicker Tyler Bass. And they signed edge Bradley Chubb to a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $29 million guaranteed. Corner D. Alford, safety CJ Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and safety Geno Stone. And in a trade, they got wide receiver DJ Moore from the Bears out there in Chicago, along with a 2026 fifth-rounder, in exchange for a 2026 second-rounder.
So I'm going to talk about the biggest move here, and that is acquiring DJ Moore. Whew. So all the noise when the Bills got eliminated from the playoffs was get Josh Allen some weapons, and surprisingly, the Bills front office actually went and did that.
Yeah.
He hasn't really had a number one weapon since Stephon Diggs, and you get an upgraded version of him here in DJ Moore, who's much more, I'd say, selfless towards the team, and I think that he's really going to care about winning, and he's going to understand if he's not getting targets for one game or whatever. But this also pushes Keon Coleman out a little bit, and then it helps out with Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir in the tight end room with taking some of the load off of them. And then they got him pretty cheap in the trade too as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they really did. I love that move by them. I also like them bringing in Bradley Chubb. They've been struggling to get that outside edge rusher position, get it as strong as it should be for a little bit. Like, they brought in Bosa last year. In my opinion, it didn't pan out to what they probably hoped it would be. So to bring in Bradley Chubb, a known stud, to a big deal, I think that's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, they've been struggling at safety for years. Cole Bishop kind of took a little bit of a step forward last year. CJ to come in as like a mercenary, literally like a killer in the secondary.
Yeah.
Maybe not literally. Maybe that wasn't the right word.
Does the dirty work.
He does the dirty work for sure. So I like that to be able to help out the linebackers too after they just lost Matt Milano.
Yeah.
So bringing in CJ who did play well whenever he actually got a chance on the Bears last year after bouncing around off a few teams. 1-year deal worth $6 million. Pretty darn cheap for a killer like that.
Yeah. Moving to the Miami Dolphins, they re-signed tight end Greg Dulcich, linebacker Willie Gay Jr., and kicker Riley Patterson. They signed quarterback Malik Willis to a 3-year, $67.5 million deal with $45 million fully guaranteed. Wide receiver Tutu Atwell, wide receiver Jaelan Tolbert, offensive tackle Jamari Saylor, and edge David Ojabo, edge Josh Uche, kicker Zane Gonzalez, and punter Bradley Pinion.
So I'm actually going to get us started off by talking about Jaelan Tolbert.
Ooh.
And that's because it leads me into my next points that it seems like the Dolphins are – I love what the GM's doing. I'll say that.
Okay.
They're really offloading these weapons, really loading up for the future, and kind of embracing the suck, I would say. And by bringing in Jaelan Tolbert and Tutu Atwell as well, it seems like they're kind of committing to these guys as their receivers they're going to go with, along with Malik Washington, then Greg Dulcich as well. But it seems like they're just kind of battening down the hatches with what they got. They're giving some of these cheaper guys who they got for very cheap at $1.4 million for a year. They're giving them a chance, and they're saying, okay, we saw what you did on these teams as the 3 or 4 option, so now you're going to be the 1 option, and let's see what you can do. Now, I don't know how much they're going to be used because it seems like this is going to be a run-focused team, and Devon Achane is probably going to be the leading receiver. But it's definitely giving these smaller guys a chance to go out and prove themselves.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. I don't know how much I like it yet, but like Carson said, they got a bunch of 1-year deals coming into this year. I like them bringing in 2 edge rushers. Like, let's bring in Josh Uche. Let's bring in David Ojabo and see what they can do for us. And I'm very curious to see how that works out. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting how the whole team's trying. But I think that's interesting they're focusing on that area a bunch, I should say.
I do love it when a new regime comes in and they know the team is bad. So they're just okay with making it bad so that they can stock up for next year's draft. Like, they know that this year's draft is not going to win them any championships, and they're okay with that. They just, like, they probably said to the owner, like, hey, you got to trust us. Like, give us 2 years, 3 years to build this thing up, because they were kind of in cap hell. The guys who they're paying the most money to, the top 5, I saw a post about this, are not on the team anymore.
Makes sense.
It includes guys like Jalen Ramsey and Jalen Phillips and Tyreek Hill. Tua. And I like how they're gaining picks by trading away guys like this. And there aren't any big signings, and I'm okay with that. I mean, we know the Dolphins aren't going to be good right now, so keep it cheap.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this is you don't really find out if Malik Willis is your franchise quarterback or not, because you're not giving him a lot to work with.
Come on, 2-2.
So it seems like a very high floor, low ceiling situation where either Malik Willis balls out and carries the team somehow, or crashes and burns. And you're like, well, he was just good enough for us to not know if we should keep him or not. So
Right. Yeah.
Well, they're definitely drafting a wide receiver. Like, the
No
foreplay,
You
they're
think
definitely,
so?
yeah. I think they're definitely drafting.
I don't know. I think they might draft a corner with them still starting Storm Duck and Darryl Baker Jr.
Hell yeah.
Dude bakes. All right, let's move to the New England Patriots. They signed offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker to a 3-year, $42 million deal with $21 million guaranteed. Fullback Reggie Gilliam. Wide receiver Romeo Dobbs to a 4-year, $70 million contract with $39 million guaranteed. Defensive lineman Draymond Jones to a 3-year, $39.5 million deal with $23.1 million guaranteed. Linebacker KJ Britt and safety Kevin Byard.
I find this Romeo Dobbs signing interesting because it seems like Drake May was never really had a lack of weapons, and they never really tried to rely on the passing game. But when they did, Kayshon Boutte showed some great flashes. Kyle Williams showed flashes when he was on the field. Mac Hollins is there. Demario Douglas has always been explosive. And then Hunter Henry has been good as well. So to bring in a guy like Romeo Dobbs and pay him this much, it just kind of seems like they're addressing an issue that wasn't really ever a huge issue. And I feel like if they were going to address this, the thing that I would want them to do would be to go out and get a wide receiver 1. Because right now you're stuck with a bunch of wide receiver 2s and 3s without a dominant guy, but you're still spending this $39 million, or no, less than that, 19. You're spending a lot of money. You're spending a lot of money on a receiver that I personally don't think is going to make that big of a difference.
I think it's 18.
Right. Sure.
18?
No, hang on. Give me 10.
Wait, what are you figuring out
Per
here?
year.
Oh, 17 and a half.
17 and a half.
Thank you.
Yeah. Goodness. I like that this is there's still signs of a very clear presence, obviously, of the head coach here. Mike Vrabel. Goodness, I was blanking, but you still got that offensive and defensive lineman coming into play here. That's still a Mike Vrabel team. You got to start in the trenches. I like both these signings. You signed offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker to join Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Mike Nwenu, Morgan Moses. Like, their line is already good. And it's like,
good.
you know what? Let's commit to our quarterback pretty much and give him more protection and make that run game even better. And I really like that. And as far as the defensive line, too, I like the offensive line signing better. But to just bring in guys to the trenches, I think that's huge for this team.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also love bringing in Kevin Byard as a safety on the back end, a veteran safety, actually the leader in interceptions this past season, to play alongside now second-year player Craig Woodson. I think it's going to be really good. I love that Elijah Vera Tucker signing because after the playoffs, after the Super Bowl, there are major questions. I think if Will Campbell can stick at left tackle after he got absolutely bodied all through the playoffs, and Elijah Vera Tucker, as long as he stays healthy, he's proven in the NFL on the Jets, that he can play both guard and tackle. So I like that, having them both on the left side there. They can literally just swap if they need to.
Right.
I mean, put Will Campbell in at left guard and put Vera Tucker out at left tackle, and I like that a lot. Completely agree about the Romeo Dobbs thing, too. you don't need this. Like, you were getting games out of Mac Hollins, paying him pennies.
Yeah.
And then you go out and spend a ton of money whenever you could have just probably got the same production out of a rookie wide receiver this year as you could Romeo Dobbs and save like $60 million. But not my money.
And then to give you a little victory lap, I think that coming out of the draft, you said you liked Will Campbell at guard more than tackle. A little victory lap for you. I think instead of an apology poem, you need a victory poem. For that.
I need a victory poem, rubbing it into the noses. Also, give Demario Douglas more targets. Every time he got the ball, it was good things happened.
I know,
Yeah, it really did.
Put him on the field, Vrabel.
Yeah.
All right, ending off the AFC East, we have the New York Jets. Starting off with who got re-signed, we got running back Breece Hall received the franchise tag, which will pay him $14.293 to be specific, million for the 2026 season, and safety Andre Sisco, and they signed offensive guard Dylan Parham, edge Kingsley Enigbare, edge Joseph Asai, edge Joseph Asai to a 3-year $36 million deal with $22.49 guaranteed. Defensive lineman David Onyemata, linebacker Demario Davis to a 2-year $22 million deal that includes $15 million guaranteed. Corner Nashon Wright and safety Dane Belton. And they acquired in a trade quarterback Geno Smith from the Vegas Raiders, along with a 2026 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2026 6th-rounder. And they got defensive lineman Tavondre Sweat from the Titans in exchange for an edge rusher, Jermaine Johnson II, and they got safety Minkah Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins in exchange for a 2026 7th-round pick. Fitzpatrick is going to sign a 3-year $40 million extension with $20.5 million guaranteed. A lot of moves.
A lot of moves here. So I'm going to talk about the two big offensive additions. Breece Hall, it's kind of sad for him because I think at this point in his career, he needs to get a contract because he just keeps dragging out his career and he's not getting any better. But he keeps saying that he's going to bet on himself and then this just muddies up the running back room as well. Everyone thought Braylon Allen was going to run away with the job with Isaiah Davis at his side. Braylon Allen goes down. So now they have to figure something out to bring back Breece Hall, and then he's just stuck here. So I think he will be good for them, but it's just bad for his career, in my opinion. And then speaking about bad for careers, Geno Smith goes back to the place that started it all with the Jets. And this feels like a very Jets move and a very Jets quarterback. Geno Smith was so good one year, so bad the next year. So what version are we going to get? I would say bad because he doesn't have a lot to work with here.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. Well, that's but I think that if they're going to draft a quarterback, this is a decent way to do it because he is a veteran guy. He has a lot of experience, so they can learn under Geno Smith. But I don't think that this is – I think this is slapping a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
I was wrong. It's not Nathaniel Hackett. It's Frank Reich. Nathaniel Hackett went to Arizona.
Maybe even worse.
Yeah.
Okay. The Jets bringing in Minkah Fitzpatrick might be one of their smarter moves. Now, I feel incredibly bad for Minkah, but I think it's smart to bring in anyone that has experience and anyone who's solid and can basically do his own job without needing guidance and is able to be a coach on the field. I think that's very important for a Jets team that's struggled forever and is always seeming like they need to piece together new parts. I think having a guy like Minkah to run that whole back end is going to be very beneficial to them.
Can I say that so far I like this as a save my own ass offseason?
Jets are pretty good at looking good.
Yeah, they are. They're good at looking good on paper.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn knows that his ass is on the line.
Oh, yeah.
And he's pulling in big names like Frank Reich. And he's put together a lot of pieces now on this defense. A lot of old pieces now because he knows that he has to prove that he can win games this year. Mm-hmm. He knows that he's not going to be able to stick it out through a long rebuild. So he's trying to do this thing fast and expedited. And I just looked at how many draft picks they have this year. They have 13.
Woo.
They have 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, 1 third-rounder, 2 fourth-rounders, 2 fifth-rounders, 1 sixth-rounder, 3 seventh-rounders. And then if he can somehow hang on till next season, they have 3 first-round picks.
Jeez.
So in these next 2 years, 2026 and 2027, they have 5 first-round picks.
Wow.
So if they can hit on
screw it up.
any of these free agency signings and any of these draft picks and bring out a season that's even close to 500 or maybe a little bit above,
Honestly, yeah.
he might be able to keep his job.
Yeah.
Because I love Javondre Sweat, and they
Yep.
did just get rid of Quentin Williams. He's not Quentin Williams, but he fills a hole at least.
He
and
definitely fills a hole.
Fills a hole. All
Maybe a couple.
370 pounds
Yeah.
of him. Like potato in the drain.
Yeah.
He loves potatoes, I'm sure.
I think it's hilarious the homecomings that we have here too, because DeMario
Yeah.
Davis started his career on the Jets before he went and spent a lot of years in New Orleans.
I thought
Geno
he,
Smith.
I thought he
was
was going to
hilarious.
retire.
Yeah, so
I
did
think everybody
yeah.
did.
Yeah, I don't know what they did to talk him into it. I don't love the edge signings, I will say. Joshua Osai, that's a lot of money for him,
Yeah.
who never did anything in Cincinnati. Most people probably wouldn't even know he's from Cincinnati because he barely did anything. Kingsley and Akbare, he came from the Packers. He barely did anything there. But they have so many draft picks to address the rest of the holes. So right now, I don't want to plant my flag, but I'm going to say I think it looks kind of good. Not good, but way better. Way better than it was before, which it's a very low bar to cross. But,
The lowest, actually.
I think they're doing things the right way in order to save their asses.
Sure.
So,
That makes
Deshaun
sense.
Wright showed flashes on the Bears.
yes, he did, and that's cheap. They got him for 1 year, $5.5 million, only $3.5 million guaranteed. Corners, you guys will see as you read down through the doc. Corners this year go for cheap.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Okay, we're moving into the AFC North. Starting off with the Baltimore Ravens. They re-signed quarterback Tyler Huntley and corner Chidobe Awuzie, and they signed tight end Durham Smythe, offensive lineman John Simpson to a 3-year, $30 million deal with $17.5 million guaranteed. Edge Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million deal with $60 million fully guaranteed and a maximum value of $120 million, and safety Jaelan Hawkins.
I think this needs talked about first, and that's Trey Hendrickson.
Yep.
So Trey Hendrickson goes here, and but
Wait.
But Max Crosby was here first, and that whole situation was just crazy in and of itself, and like how Max Crosby posted his goodbyes to Raider Nation, then he had to come back and be like, okay, and the Ravens were getting a lot of hate for it, and I guess the original plan was for Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby to play together. That would have been insane, but Trey Hendrickson's here now. He's a little bit older, and but he still showed that he can do it. Still in the FC North, so I think that the Bengals are going to regret that. But as for the Ravens finally get an edge rusher that should be able to do something. They've tried a bunch of different things from Matt Judon way back when, and they've tried this guy and that guy. No one worked. So Trey Hendrickson should be a guy that finally comes in and gives them a pass rush for this defense that has great corners and great safeties with Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Chidobe Awuzie, all these guys. They're having a hard time because there was no pressure on the quarterback. So now this should finally help a little bit.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, but I don't know if I believe what they're saying about the whole Max Crosby thing, but whatever. I let them do their thing. I don't like that they went. I don't like these things where you sign in conference, and I don't really like that. But
sure Burrow doesn't like it either.
no, he's gonna saw him in half.
Yeah.
If he can. I don't like normal. I like the offensive line. I like the defensive line signings here. I like them bringing in the guy to another big deal to join an already talented offensive line.
He was good on the Jets.
Yeah, you can never have too many of these guys, and that's clear because whenever you don't have a good one, it's clear, and that's your weak point. So I like this sign.
I like Jaelan Hawkins coming in. He revived his career after a really rough start last year on New England, and Vrabel must have said something to him, whispered into his ears, and now he's going to be the third safety on this team who actually might get some play because Kyle Hamilton does like to play in the slot a little bit, depending on how they're going to use him year in and year out. I think they still need a lot of help on the interior of that offensive line. They're starting a center named Corey Bullock, who I've never even heard of. And Andrew Voorhees really struggled last year at left guard. So I think that there's some NFL draft foreplay there. But yeah, the Ravens, and honestly, the aggravating thing is that I think that the Ravens probably did the right thing with not getting Max Crosby, but it's just so aggravating because it feels like they went at it in a terrible way, and teams are going to look down on them for it.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, they re-signed offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr. to a 2-year, $32 million extension that includes $14 million guaranteed, and Brown is now under contract through the 2028 season. And offensive guard Dalton Reisner, they signed quarterback Josh Johnson.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Edge Boye Mafe to a 3-year, $60 million deal with $19 million guaranteed. Defensive lineman Jonathan Allen to a 2-year, $26 million deal that has $7.5 million guaranteed. And safety Brian Cook signed a 3-year, $40.25 million deal with $14 million guaranteed.
How about Boy Mafe doing the old switcheroo with Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah.
3 years, $60 million, $20 million a year. I think that I would much rather pay the extra $33 million and the extra $13 million a year and get Trey Hendrickson over Boy Mafe. But maybe this is the Bengals just trying to be like, we need something now, so got to go out and get him. And now one of the Bengals' only bright spots on defense is severely downgraded, and not only do they not have coverage now, they also don't have a pass rush. So
True.
when everyone thinks that this defense can't get any worse and the front office has to address it, it gets worse, and the front office brings in Brian Cook to be like, hey, look at that, we got a safety.
Somewhere where they might have got better here was offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr., bringing him in to a terribly performing offensive line, obviously with Burrow getting killed every single year. But, hey, Orlando Brown Jr. is pretty good in KC, so we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of problems here.
No.
I don't know how. I love seeing all the memes where it's like it's Zach Taylor standing there and watching all the coaches get fired around him, and somehow he doesn't get fired whenever. You could argue that his team probably underperformed the most last year out of all of the teams in the AFC North, but a lot of that was because of the defense. And like Carson said, I don't think they got any better. Brian Cook probably is an upgrade at safety over Geno Stone or Jordan Battle or anybody else they've been throwing out there over the past couple seasons. But Jonathan Allen is an aging veteran that you're paying a lot of money to. Boye Mafe has always kind of shown flashes in Seattle, but he's never taken over a game like a Trey Hendrickson has. So this team better be doing like the Atlanta Falcons did last year in the draft, just attack defense, like intensely with almost every pick.
Yeah, agreed. The Cleveland Browns, they re-signed offensive guard Tevin Jenkins, and they signed offensive guard Zion Johnson to a 3-year, $49.5 million deal with $32.39 million guaranteed. Offensive lineman Elton Jenkins to a 2-year, $24 million deal with $20 million guaranteed. Defensive end A.J. Epinesa and linebacker Quincy Williams, and acquired in a trade, they got offensive tackle Titus Howard from the Houston Texans in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick. Howard signed a new 3-year, $63 million extension with $34.5 million guaranteed.
Yeah, not a whole lot of excitement here for the Browns in typical Brown fashion. They just bring in some pieces that are needed, tighten up that offensive line. It's looking a lot better. But I'm going to talk about on the defensive side of the ball because, in my opinion, one of the most exciting signings here is actually Quincy Williams, and that's because their linebacker room now is pretty dang good. Carson Schweisinger last year as a rookie was pretty dang good in the middle. Quincy Williams now, bring him in, and then JOK should be coming back sometime.
No, he actually won't be.
He's done again?
No, he might never play football again with his neck injury. Yeah.
Okay, JOK was really good. I guess Quincy Williams fills that void now, but either way, this linebacker room now is good to go.
I agree, and I don't have a lot to add. Kind of boring.
Yeah, I do like how they rebuilt the offensive line with a bunch of veterans. It's kind of what they did back whenever Stefanski first started and brought in a bunch of veterans, and it worked for a few years. And now it seems like, and now it seems like Todd Monken wants to do the same, and maybe we'll see it work because they did bring in 3 new starters, and now it feels like they're not so pigeonholed to draft an offensive lineman in the first round, and maybe now they can just go pretty receiver heavy in the draft early.
Get some weapons for their Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, you can move on after that one.
Moving to the Pittsburgh Steelers to end off the AFC North, they re-signed defensive lineman Cameron Hayward to a 2-year, $32.25 million contract with $16.25 million guaranteed. The extension keeps him under contract through 2027. Linebacker Cole Holcomb and corner Asante Samuel Jr., and they signed running back Rico Dowdle to a 2-year, $12.25 million deal contract. Deal contract. I don't know. 2 year, $12.25 million. With $5 million guaranteed. There we go. Defensive lineman Sebastian Joseph Day. Corner Jamal Dean to a 3-year, $36.75 million deal with $12 million guaranteed. Safety Jaquan Brisker and safety Darnell Savage. And acquired in a trade, they got wide receiver Michael Pittman from the Colts along with a 2026 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2026 6th-rounder. And Pittman signed a new 3-year, $59 million deal with $24 million guaranteed.
There's a lot to talk about here. So I'm just going to talk about the secondary as a whole. I love the Jamel Dean signing. I think this is really going to help our corner room, and JPJ has been kind of taking a step back. Brendan Eccles is there, and I think Jamel Dean is a nice veteran presence. He can come in and help tackle, and I think that's a good signing to really shore up the corner room. Then as for safety, last year we were trying everything in safety. We tried Chuck Clark, Kyle Duggar came in. There was some other old head we brought in.
Jabril
Peppers, yeah. And to bring in Jaquan Brisker, I think this is a huge upgrade at the safety position. And that's another deal that I love. Darnell Savage, I think, is just another one of those old heads we're bringing in once again. And then Asante Samuel for $4 million. That's pretty cheap for him as well, for some guy that can hold his own.
Agreed. Some of us Steelers fans want them to fully commit to a full rebuild. Yeah, but they're committed to mediocrity, as we know, according to Carson.
That's true.
But one guy that you just can't get rid of that I think means so much to, well, one, everyone in Pittsburgh, and two, that whole team, has got to be Cameron Hayward. I think keep this guy around as long as you possibly can, and especially after coming off the year he had last year, still for as old as he is. I mean, how can you even think about getting rid of that guy? I think it's great to keep him around as long as we physically can.
Yeah, and this defense I feel like should be better. Last year was very, very underwhelming, and that's why everybody got fired or left or whatever. But now I love the secondary, like Carson said. I hope that the new defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, now just really buys into being bullies in the secondary, because you have some big corners now. You have Joey Porter Jr., you have Jamel Dean, Jalen Ramsey is a bully, Jaquan Brisker is a hard hitter, Deshaun Elliott has done really well since he came into Pittsburgh. I hope that now we're going to start playing a very tight press man, that's what I was looking for, press man coverage defense, like punch you in the mouth at the line of scrimmage and see if you can gain some separation after that. And now you have the pass rush to do something about it too, and get hopefully some quick pressures so that these guys don't have to cover for as long, because they're not the fastest. But again, if you can slow them down at the line of scrimmage, punch them in the mouth, I think that this defense can really be bullies once again, like Pittsburgh wants to be. Also love the Rico Dowdle signing. Jalen Warren can't do it all himself, and Rico Dowdle is a perfect bruising complement, I think, to him. We saw what he could do last year whenever he took a lead back role in Carolina. Had some career record-breaking games out of nowhere, Rico Dowdle. So I think that's really exciting for this Pittsburgh offense. Also, Michael Pittman, no longer Pittman, it's Pittman.
The Pittman.
Because his name is Pitt. They love that. Also, Jaquan Brisker is from Pittsburgh, and you know that Pittsburgh people love other people from Pittsburgh.
Yinzers love Yinzers.
I swear, nobody else talks about how much they love their city than Pittsburgh. You never hear about Seattle talking about, I had to come back to
Seattle.
Cincinnati
people.
Seriously, nobody talks about it. Pittsburgh loves Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Nobody loves Pittsburgh like Pittsburgh.
I saw a different perspective of Pittsburgh the other day. It was not good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to put a long story short,
everywhere has that.
It was about 10 o'clock at night, downtown Pittsburgh, driving through, at a crosswalk, styrofoam white container like food leftovers, laying on the road, clearly ran over because it was flattened and split open, and laying on the ground beside it was either spaghetti or some kind of meat, ribs, I don't know. Guy comes walking across the street as we're pulling up to the intersection.
Okay.
Reaches down, grabs the food. Cheeks full.
Dude got a good dinner.
Munching on as he walks away just like it's any other Thursday afternoon.
Maybe he watched it happen. Maybe he knows it was still fresh. Awesome.
Just a tough Pittsburgh guy. He's eating it with rocks and asphalt.
It was ran over at least once.
I think the word you're looking for is tenderized.
Yeah. And then also I saw two meth heads almost getting into a fight.
Well, that's everywhere.
Up against one of our cars, and I had to go and pretend like I was getting into the car just to get him to back away so he didn't start punching windows or something. Anyways, but Mike McCarthy is another Pittsburgh guy, so we love him.
Yeah,
they love Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But to talk about Michael Pittman some more, I think he's the guy that Pittsburgh's gonna love.
Yeah,
he's very quiet to complement with DK Metcalf's not very quiet, and he's a guy that always produces. He has a bunch of 1,000-yard seasons, and you never hear a word out of his mouth for good or bad. And then also, I already love the guy just because he loves fishing. Yeah. He's a country boy, and I think the city's going to really embrace that. But not to stay on the Steelers for too much longer, but I want to talk about Rico Dowdle for a little bit as well. I do like the signing, but a couple things. This is pretty much the same price that Kenny Gainwell signed on.
Yeah.
And Kenny Gainwell was our best offensive player last year. So to let him walk and bring Rico Dowdle, I think, is probably a mistake.
Completely agree.
And then bringing in Rico Dowdle is pretty much shutting the door on
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson's career in Pittsburgh. So we love that as guys that didn't like him.
Yeah.
But it was a waste of a third or fourth round pick.
Yeah,
it was,
100%.
So. Yeah.
And the money for Pittman.
Yeah.
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah. Moving to the AFC South, we have the Houston Texans. They re-signed tight end Dalton Schultz to a 1-year extension worth $12.6 million. Offensive tackle Trent Brown. Offensive guard Ed Ingram to a 3-year, $37.5 million deal with $23.5 million guaranteed. Edge Danielle Hunter to a 1-year, $40.1 million extension that includes $30.7 million guaranteed, and the deal ties up Hunter to Houston through the 2027 season. Defensive lineman Sheldon Rankins, linebacker EJ Speed, and kicker Kaimi Fairbairn into a 2-year, $13 million extension.
What?
You don't like Speed? What's wrong with Speed?
I don't know. I've never heard anybody say it like that before.
But like Lightning McQueen, I'm Speed, right?
Sorry, keep going. I guess it wasn't that funny.
Kicker Kaimi Fairbairn to a 2-year, $13 million extension, making him the highest paid kicker in the NFL. Speed. Oh, yeah, they also signed tight end Foster Moreau and offensive tackle Evan Brown and offensive tackle Braden Smith to a 2-year deal worth up to $25 million with $13.5 million guaranteed, and offensive guard Wyatt Teller. Defensive end Logan Hall, safety Reed Blankenship to a 3-year, $24.75 million deal with $16.5 million guaranteed. And in a trade, they got running back David Montgomery from the Lions in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs and a 2026 4th-round draft pick and a 2027 7th rounder.
That's like the most. Never mind. We'll talk about Juice Scruggs whenever he gets to the team he actually went to.
Yeah. So David Montgomery, first little bit of draft foreplay for the episode. Yeah. Everyone thought that the Texans were in the market for a running back in the draft. They bring in David Montgomery and puts those rumors to bed. David Montgomery, I think, is going to be amazing for the Texans. He's like what they wanted Nick Chubb to be, and the big bruising running back that's tough between the tackles. Then I think Woody Marks can finally play like Woody Marks is supposed to play, as more of a
not every down.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. And I think that he'll be much more explosive as any running back is whenever they don't have to play on every snap. So for the running back room, I think that this is a great outlook, and it helps C.J. Stroud as well take a little pressure off the pass game.
I'm a fan of them bringing back Dalton Schultz. He's produced a lot and flown very under the radar. It's been very quiet.
Yeah, you love Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's just a very consistent producer for the team, and you just don't realize it until like, oh yeah, he had the most yards today. And obviously Nico Collins was out, so take that with a grain of salt. But aside from Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz just quietly gets it done.
He was the Turd Ferguson before Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was.
Reed Blankenship, baby. I mean, it's kind of sad they broke up the exciting whites in Philadelphia. But good money for Reed Blankenship if he can get it. I mean, like $8 million a year for guaranteed 2 years to be a starter on this great Houston Texans defense, where he probably can just sit back there in a lawn chair and they'll do everything else, because they brought like everybody back on this defense, everybody that was worth something. Sheldon Rankins had an amazing year because he had a lot of help from Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. who they brought back, which is awesome. I also love kind of what they're doing on the offensive line. Talked about last year how they just kind of threw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
Some of it stuck, some of it did not. And the stuff that fell off and did not stick, they picked up some new spaghetti and then threw it back at the wall, like Wyatt Teller and Braden Smith and Evan Brown. These guys are all proven veterans who, piece by piece, they're figuring out the offensive line. It's just taking a lot of big names and a lot of money to figure out who's actually good and who's going to work to make C.J. Stroud maybe look less panicked. And maybe you can try to get him back to his rookie year self. You also have Jaden Higgins and Jaelan Noel get another year older. Tank Dell should be coming back. So this team, on paper right now, they look really good. They're looking really, really good, and this is before even the NFL draft.
Yep. The Indianapolis Colts, they re-signed quarterback Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, to a 2-year, $88 million deal that can be worth up to $100 million with incentives and includes $60 million guaranteed. They also re-signed wide receiver Alec Pierce to a 4-year, $114 million contract that includes $84 million guaranteed. Tight end Mo Alley Cox, kicker Blake Groupie. They also signed wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akine, edge Michael Clemens, edge Arden Key, defensive tackle Derek Noddy, defensive tackle Jerry Tillery, linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither, corner Cam Taylor-Britt, and safety Jonathan Owens. And in a trade, they got defensive tackle Colby Wooden from the Green Bay Packers in exchange for linebacker Zaire Franklin.
First and foremost, goodbye Zaire Franklin. Led the league in tackles just a year ago. He's gone. That's kind of crazy, but
all right. You got Akeem Davis-Gaither.
Yeah, but to touch on the biggest one here, well, one of the biggest ones here that I do not like, Alec Pierce, almost $30 million a year. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing in Indianapolis? I get it. He was explosive some games, and him and Danny Dimes looked good together, but $30 million good? Nah. He'll never be a 1. He isn't a 1. He's a great 2 at best, and that's best.
Yeah.
Realistically, he's a solid 2. But $30 million a year is insane. Now, I think they should have brought him back, yes, but for like $18 million, $17 million.
Michael Pittman's contract.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know
I'm
if
just
they
happy
could.
the Steelers didn't bite on him and pay him that much instead of Michael Pittman. So
He was in a press conference. He said before getting signed, he said he thought he earned the right to go out and try free agency. So I think they had to pay him this kind of money, or else he wasn't going to stay. And they must have really panicked because they must have thought that he was the key to that made Danny Dimes good or something. I swear, like that guy made Indianapolis Jones. You better bring him back.
Yeah.
That's the key.
I like what they're doing with defense. Like, it's kind of trying out some new guys, bringing in some old heads, and kind of sticking and seeing what's going to happen, I guess. Throwing more spaghetti at the wall, like you just talked about, and seeing what's going to stick. Akeem Davis-Gaither, sure, he should be good. And now Zaire Franklin is probably next level, but they're just bringing in a bunch of depth, and that's, I guess, never a bad thing on defense.
Yeah, we talked about last year how Indianapolis, last year was kind of their year to, looked like they had a ton of names that could really go all in. Now they have a ton of roster turnover. Now Arden Key is right now slotted in as a starter. Right now they're starting a linebacker. Austin Ajaki? I don't even know who that guy is.
Jokic, what?
Jokic? Yeah, exactly. I do love the Cam Taylor-Britt signing. We don't know right now how much money it was for, but I feel like Cincinnati was stupid to let him walk. He was clearly their best corner since they drafted him. And they're just like, nah, you can leave.
We're good enough
we
without you.
don't need you. Yeah. So that's kind of scary, but it looks good for Indianapolis. Really excited to see what Cam Taylor-Britt can do on a 1-year prove-it deal.
Certainly. Jacksonville Jaguars, they re-signed edge Dennis Gardeck and corner Monteric Brown to a 3-year, $33 million contract with $20.65 million guaranteed. And they also signed running back Chris Rodriguez Jr. to a 2-year, $10 million deal that includes $6.2 guaranteed.
This running back room now is looks like it's set up perfect to be a committee between Bashal Tootin, Chris Rodriguez Jr., and maybe DJ Dallas, maybe LaQuint Allen Jr., maybe whoever they draft. But I think that this muddies up the running back room. But overall, I don't think it's a bad thing because Chris Rodriguez has flashes. Bashal Tootin has flashes. So I think that overall this is an okay move for Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah. The corner move here Kean, you're gonna have to help me out with more about him.
Buster
I don't
Brown.
really know.
Buster Brown. He's really more of a tackler, and this is kind of like an oops, we let Tyson Campbell go.
Yeah.
We got to keep some kind of corner here. Monteric Brown has been solid, especially because he was a 7th-round pick coming in 2022. Jordan Lewis was the real standout last year, I believe, in the nickel. He was a free agent signing last year. And Travis Hunter is going to be a full-time starter at corner this year, so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Sure.
I wanted him to be a corner, and now he's going to be a corner.
Did they announce he's not playing receiver?
They said he's going to be full-time corner receiver when needed, as in like
Special option.
Yeah, like if somebody
Yeah.
goes down, which Parker Washington earned himself some playing time, so good
Yeah.
for Park. Woo, Park.
Yeah.
I kind of figured that with the Jacoby Myers move and then them deciding to keep Brian Thomas Jr. So.
Yeah. The Tennessee Titans, they re-signed kicker Joey Sly to a 1-year deal worth $2 million, and they signed quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson to a 4-year, $78 million deal that includes $38 million guaranteed, tight end Daniel Bellinger to a 3-year, $24 million deal with $14.01 million guaranteed, tight end Kylan Granson, offensive guard Cordell Volson, center Austin Schlottman, edge Jacob Martin, defensive line Jordan Elliott, and D lineman John Franklin Myers to a 3-year, $63 million deal with $42 million guaranteed. Corner Cordell Flott to a 3-year, $45 million deal with $32 guaranteed. Corner Alante Taylor to a 3-year deal worth $60 million with $42 guaranteed. Corner Joshua Williams, safety Tony Adams, punter Tommy Townsend, and in a trade they got edge Jermaine Johnson II from the Jets in exchange for defensive lineman Tavondre Sweat. And they also got defensive lineman Solomon Thomas from the Titans in exchange for a 7th round with a 7th round pick swap.
Yeah, 7th-round pick swap. Yeah, you swap 7th-round picks and
Plus Solomon Thomas.
Yes.
They really redid this defense, and
Yeah.
I think they did it pretty well. But I'll let our in-house corner guy, Kean, talk about the corners. So I'm just going to talk about one of Kean's guys, Wan'Dale Robinson, for $19.5 million a year.
Yeah.
I think this is a smoking deal. Hopefully he finally gets the usage he deserves. Last season, he popped off in a couple of games, and
Hit 1,000 yards.
yeah, he showed what he can really do. And now I think that this is going to be excellent for Cam Ward. Finally has a guy in the slot that he can rely on. Calvin Ridley doesn't have to be the go-to guy all the time. Jamiri DK showed last year what Cam Ward kind of needs, and then they really reinforced that with Wan'Dale this year. So overall, I love the move for Wan'Dale, love the move for Cam Ward, love the move for the Titans offense in general.
Yeah, right on that offense. I like them bringing in tight end Daniel Bellinger. Sure, it's not the Wan'Dale Robinson move, but you're trying to invest a little bit of offensive power into your young, now second-year quarterback Cam Ward. Might as well get him more weapons. You bring in a tight end Daniel Bellinger that's had a little bit of experience to pair up with your younger Gunnar Helm. I think that'll be a good combo, and of course Kylan Granson too. So maybe they're planning on a lot of 2 tight end sets. Obviously, that's getting pretty common in the NFL, but that's pretty telling here. But yeah, the more weapons for a young quarterback like Cam Ward, the better.
Blocking tight ends like Daniel Bellinger nowadays get paid. They get absolutely money.
Yeah, it's good money.
Maybe this is a little bit of a sign that maybe they go after at number 4 overall, which I don't agree with, but I've heard some smoke around it. Jeremiah Love.
Draft foreplay.
Yeah.
Draft foreplay with them bringing in Daniel Bellinger and some O-line picks. But I do really, really love the corner signings here. Alante Taylor, call him the Cookie Monster.
Ooh, I
He's
like
a
that.
monster in the slot. Been playing for the Saints. Cordell Flott has been the best Giants corner. Take that with a grain of salt. But Brian Dable must like him enough to bring him with him. So he comes in to start. And then also Joshua Williams has been playing great on the Chiefs under Spags. So their corners have been a problem. And, I mean, Saleh comes in. He's like, snaps his fingers and boom. Corners are naturally good. At least they should be. They still need a lot of help in the pass rush. It's basically still Jeffrey Simmons, Jermaine Johnson II. Saleh must have loved that guy whenever he was in New York.
Yeah.
He hasn't really lived up to his first round pedigree yet. So I think they still need help at edge rusher, but this team, like Carson said, is definitely looking a lot better. And the coach hirings through the first month, I would say, are looking pretty darn good, like we expected.
Definitely. Moving to the AFC West, we're going to start it off with the Denver Broncos. They re-signed running back J.K. Dobbins to a 2-year deal worth $20 million, including $8 million fully guaranteed. Running back Jaleel McLaughlin, wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey, tight end Adam Troutman to a 3-year contract worth $17 million with $9.5 guaranteed. Linebacker Alec Singleton to a 2-year deal worth up to $15.5 million with $11 guaranteed. Linebacker Justin Stranad to a 3-year deal that's worth a max of $19.5 million and includes $10 million fully guaranteed. And in a trade, they got wide receiver Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins along with a 2026 4th-round pick in exchange for a 2026 1st-round pick, 3rd-round pick, and 4th-round pick.
I'll talk about Jalen Waddle here. And
Waddle.
as a huge Broncos fan, honestly, I don't really love this.
Pretty expensive.
I think that you gave up a lot for a guy like Jalen Waddle, who has had injuries all through his career. When he's on the field, he's great, but to spend pretty much a 1st-round and a 3rd-round pick on him is kind of crazy to me because, in my opinion, I think with that 1st-round pick, you'd have been close to getting a guy like Casey Conception. And I see them as two very, very similar guys who would have reset the contract window, and I think that it would have saved you a lot of draft capital and money. So I like Jalen Waddle, and I like what he brings to the table, but injury concerns and what you could have got with those draft picks instead scares me. Now, Broncos receiving room had kind of been hit or miss the whole year. Cortland Sutton was always consistent, but Marvin Mims would have big flashes, but they didn't always seem to trust him. Pat Bryant had some flashes. He got injured, and they didn't really trust him all the time. And same with Troy Franklin. It was just a revolving door of receivers all year round that they didn't seem to ever fall in love with anybody. So that's what I think led them to making this trade. They wanted to get that guy that they think is a sure thing for Bo Nix.
I like them bringing in linebacker Alex Singleton to join that already incredible defense. Might as well try to make it better with a stud from Philly. I think it's a good deal for him. Pretty decent money, not too much for the Broncos, and makes that defense even better somehow.
Carson, you're an RJ Harvey guy. Are you at all worried that they seemed like they were really shopping around to see who they wanted to bring in and ended up just bringing back J.K. Dobbins, but the intent was clearly there to bring in somebody because they didn't believe that R.J. Harvey could do it himself?
I am, and I think that J.K. Dobbins is the obvious one here, and I kind of understand why they bring him back because they like not having the load all on one running back. Sean Payton's always kind of been a committee guy. But what I find even more concerning is they bring back Jaleel McLaughlin, who I think is also posing a threat to R.J. Harvey because when he's on the field, he's been explosive as well. Now, I know they got him for only $1.43 million, but I still think the intent speaks a lot about their mindset here about the running back room and R.J. Harvey.
Sure.
And to cap it off, thank goodness they brought back Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs, they re-signed wide receiver Tyquan Thornton and tight end Travis Kelce, who was re-signing on a 1-year, $12 million fully guaranteed deal with a max value of $15 million. They signed running back Amari DeMercado and running back Kenneth Walker III to a 3-year deal worth up to $45 million with $28.7 guaranteed. Defensive lineman Kyrus Tonga, to a 3-year, $21 million deal that includes $14 guaranteed. Corner Cater Kohu, safety Alohi Gilman to a 3-year, $24.75 million deal that includes $15 million guaranteed. And in a trade, they got their guy. Look out, Mahomes.
The answer.
Quarterback Justin Fields from the New York Jets in exchange for a 2027 6th-round pick.
I hope he starts for the first 4 games.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah.
So I'd say some of the biggest draft foreplay of the day is Kenneth Walker. Everyone and their mother was predicting the Chiefs to take Jeremiah. One of those J names.
Julian Love,
Jeremiah Love.
Jordan.
And this shows that they're obviously not going to do that anymore. So love to see which direction they go with that. But for Kenneth Walker, he chases what he called I think he said a winning franchise or a franchise that showed they can win after he just won a Super Bowl with Seattle.
Talk about foot in mouth.
And won the MVP.
And he said that he liked how he felt like they wanted him or something like that. And to me, this is just screaming your girlfriend cheats on you and she's like, he made me feel special. So then they go to him, and that's just what Kenneth Walker did here. He won a Super Bowl, just got married to this organization, MVP, and then he's like, these people make me feel wanted. And I get it. He's chasing the legacy, and he wants to play with Mahomes and all that. But gets a big contract too, and I think that he's going to be good for this team. But overall, I don't really love the signing because Kansas City showed that they've been one of those teams that can make any running back good. Kareem Hunt was looking good. Isaiah Pacheco looking good. Brashad Smith looking good. And I think that bringing in Amari DeMercado might have even been enough because this running back room is just whoever the running back is always good enough, and they just disguise the rest. But I think that he's going to be a good explosive playmaker for him. But great for Kenneth Walker, and I think the Chiefs, it was a little unnecessary, but not to keep going on a tangent, but also they might have been thinking like Mahomes is going to be out for a little bit, so we need some
need to rely on the run game.
Exactly.
Boom. I like them bringing in safety Alohi Gilman. He's a solid player. Might as well shore up that secondary a little bit because it's not like it's world beaters back there. So bringing a guy that's done it for a while, I like it.
Yeah. I like how well this team, not to keep talking about corners, but I do love corners.
You do?
Oh, yeah, you do.
I love corners. Spags makes corners look really good because he loves to blitz, so these corners don't have to cover for as long. Mm-hmm. So that's why L'Jarius Sneed goes to Tennessee. Fails. Trent McDuffie, we'll see how that works out. We'll see about Josh Williams and Jalen Watson as well because all those guys just left. He just lost 3 starting corners.
Yeah.
He lost Jalen Watson. He lost, I just blanked on the name again.
Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
And who did I just mention?
The guy that went to
we just talked about it. Tennessee. No, I don't know. But anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
That's going to bother me. I'm scrolling back up. Who did I just say?
The guy that went
Joshua Williams.
Oh,
there
we
go.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, they brought in Kader Kohu. He didn't play at all last year, and that's why he's coming in here very, very cheap, a 1-year prove-it deal, just for $1.81 million. But he was very good on the Dolphins whenever he was actually out there and playing. He was the only Dolphins good corner, and he was, I would say, a big reason why their corners and secondary as a whole looked like they sucked because Kader Kohu was out with a season-ending injury. So whenever he wasn't out there is what I mean.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see how Noel Williams starts, a 3rd-round pick from last year.
You like that guy?
I did like Noel Williams, yeah. So I think he's gonna be fine. They seem to like those bigger corners, like a Noel Williams. That's like what Jalen Watson is, what Joshua Williams is, what L'Jarius Sneed was. So it's gonna be interesting to see just how much turnover they got in the secondary to see really if Spags can make any corner work. He's going to have his weight cut out for him. Weight cut out? Is that right? His work cut out for him. Damn it.
We're on it tonight. Okay? There's a lot of words flying.
After 9 p.m., the literacy goes down.
Yeah. The Las Vegas Raiders, they re-signed defensive tackle Thomas Booker, edge Malcolm Kuntz, and corner Eric Stokes to a 3-year, $30 million deal that includes $20 million guaranteed.
What?
Yeah. Okay. And they signed wide receiver Jalen Naylor to a 3-year, $35.03 million deal with $23 guaranteed. Tight end Connor Hayward, offensive guard Spencer Burford, and center Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore. Signed a 3-year, $81 million deal with $80 million guaranteed. Edge Quiddy Pay to a 3-year, $48 million deal with $31.28 guaranteed. All right over there.
EJ Speed.
It sounds like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Speed.
Where was that? Linebacker Nakobe Dean to a 3-year, $36 million deal with $20 guaranteed. Linebacker Quay Walker to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal with $28 guaranteed. And kicker Matt Gay. And in a trade, they got corner Taron Johnson from the Bills, along with a 2026 7th rounder in exchange for a 2026 6th rounder.
There's a lot of spaghetti here.
They got money flies.
So much spaghetti.
Some of it's not even cooked.
Oh, yeah. But one piece that is perfectly cooked, Tyler Linderbaum.
Hell yeah.
That's an amazing signing for this offensive line. To pair him up with Fernando Mendoza, that's going to be a great quarterback-center connection that's hopefully going to last a long time and be very successful for this organization.
He's going to be happy touching his ass.
Yeah, he is. He sure will. And I think that's one of the best moves you can make towards developing a good offensive line. Get that center position locked down, get that leader in the huddle for the offensive line, and it is expensive, but I think that you get what you pay for here with Tyler Linderbaum.
Pretty solid linebacker pairing here they
Yeah.
got coming in, too, with Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. I mean, these are two proven studs that have went out there and done it. So I think this is huge for a Raiders team that's really trying to right the ship, and I'm sure they're going to be making a lot of moves in the draft to do that, too. But I love that linebacker combo.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Nakobe Dean in particular. He wasn't very healthy whenever he was in Philadelphia, and that's why he kind of dropped in the draft. He was rumored to be a first-round pick, dropped to the third round because of injury concerns, and you kind of showed up in Philly. But whenever he was out there, he was making plays, and he was showing out in a defense full of playmakers, and he was out there right in the middle of the screen making plays. So I'm excited for him. Eric Stokes, I do want to apologize. I wasn't familiar with his game. Last year, he actually had a pretty good season. He played over 1,000 snaps, and he had a 73.6 defensive grade, 73.5 coverage grade for a corner. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
What?
But we know that corners are very inconsistent because Eric Stokes has also graded out at a 45.9 coverage grade in his career. So
Yeah.
so we'll see how it works. It kind of seems like it might just be the one needle in a haystack. No, maybe it'd be the one needle of. I don't know.
It's the time that the blind squirrel found a nut.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
could be what it is, and we could be learning that really fast. Kwity Paye, I like that he's getting a shot here. I think that's pretty expensive for him. But he's an athletic pass rusher that I think that they need. But it is very helpful that they're keeping Max Crosby. So I don't know. This team still has a lot of work to do.
Sure.
So let's hope that they do something in the draft. Oh, maybe we're going to get to see some Darian Porter playtime this year. We hope.
They're desperate
Yeah.
for corners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mendoza with Tom Brady, though. I mean, that's the fix.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's going to be great now.
And Linderbaum.
Linderbaum.
Speed.
Los Angeles Chargers, they re-signed quarterback Trey Lance, thank goodness, to a one-year deal worth $2.5 million. Offensive tackle Trevor Penning, offensive lineman Trey Pipkins, defensive tackle Tierre Tart to a 3-year extension worth $30 million with $20 guaranteed. Edge Khalil Mack to a one-year $18 million contract, fully guaranteed. Linebacker Denzel Perryman and safety Tony Jefferson, and they signed running back Keaton Mitchell to a 2-year, $9.25 million deal with $5 million fully guaranteed. Fullback Alec Ingold, tight end Charlie Kolar to a 3-year, $24.3 million contract, including $17 guaranteed.
Blocking tight ends get paid.
So much money. Offensive guard Cole Strange, center Tyler Biotish to a 3-year, $30 million deal with $20 guaranteed, and defensive lineman Dalvin Tomlinson.
There's a lot of, I'd say, small and boring pieces here. It's like they're doing what they need to for the offensive line here, bringing in some pieces like Cole Strange and Tyler Biotish. They're guys that have shown they can do it enough to make this offensive line better, but overall I think that this sets them up well in the trenches and gives them good depth as overall free agency. I think draft foreplay-wise, I think that this really opens up the door for them to bring in some more playmakers for the offense like they've been calling for, and then some defensive pieces as well, maybe a safety with them starting Elijah Molden and Tony Jefferson, and then the corner room still looking shaky outside Derwin James. So
Yeah, certainly. There is just a whole bunch of depth here for sure. Nothing super duper exciting. Bring back some veterans like Khalil Mack, keep him in town, and
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I like that, and keep your guy Trey Lance. I mean, maybe, but yeah, keep some offensive
future.
pieces around. Yeah, the future, and then I don't know. There's nothing super duper exciting, but I just like it. These just seem like solid. You got a decent team. Once you have a decent team, this seems like a solid Harbaugh type. Like signings or extensions.
Literally, Harbaugh is passing to Harbaugh's. Keaton Mitchell and Charlie Kolar, both coming from the Ravens.
Yeah.
They loved it. If you played for my brother, you could play for
play
him.
for me.
Keaton Mitchell, I've heard a lot of smoke around that signing. Like, people think that he's actually going to get some decent usage he's going to be a very nice compliment to Amari Hampton, I feel like, because Amari Hampton is the big 220-pound bruising back. Keaton Mitchell is the speed guy. And
Speed, I think you mean.
Speed. So I'm excited to see that 1-2 punch. I think that we are getting some foreplay here because they still really need some pass rush help. Tuli Pelotu did have a nice season last year, but Khalil Mack is not the future. And this team, outside of those two, has a heaping turd of Bud Dupree. And then just about nobody. Also, they still kind of need some guard help. Cole Strange was a failed first-round pick in New England. Then he went to Miami, and this guy's just kind of been bouncing around. Made some good money here somehow, but he's not the answer. So I've seen them mocked to a lot of interior offensive linemen in the first round, which we will get into in about a week.
Yeah. Moving to the NFC East, starting off with the Dallas Cowboys, they re-signed running back Javonte Williams. Wide receiver George Pickens received the franchise tag, which will pay him $27.298 million for 2026. Defensive end Sam Williams, kicker Brandon Aubrey, and they signed quarterback Sam Howell, Keen's guy, corner Kobe Durant, safety PJ Locke, safety Jaelan Thompson to a 3-year deal worth $33 million with $22 guaranteed. And in a trade, they got edge Rashawn Gary from the Packers in exchange for a 2027 4th-round pick.
I gotta talk about it. I really do, and that's Sam Howell. So I'm curious what their thought process is here, because obviously they have Dak, and then they have Joe Milton as well, who the Patriots were like glazing when they first drafted him, and then they bring him here, and now they bring in Sam Howell. So I don't know what they're who's going to be the backup, but they do bring in Sam Howell. As for the running back room, it's kind of nice to see Javonte Williams win this job and win himself a longer deal, because at the start of last season, nobody knew what the running back room was going to do.
No.
There was Malik Davis. Some were thinking
Miles
Chicken
Sanders.
Jadon Blue was going to take it
Definitely.
over. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. And Javonte Williams finally runs away with the job last year, produces, puts up the numbers. And now they bring him back, and I think that that's going to be good for the offense to have some stability in the running back room.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think to keep wide receiver George Pickens in town is huge. I feel bad for the guy because he got the franchise tag, because obviously after his performance last year on the Cowboys, it honestly should draw more money than this. And I mean, Alec Pierce just got $30 million a year, so I feel bad for the guy. But it's after seeing that combo of Pickens and
CD.
Lamb, CD, that's just a lethal duo, and it's a great combo with Dak. It works really well, so it's good to keep him in town.
Yeah, the franchise tag does suck for the player, especially after they just put up a great season. And it's like, oh, great, I got to do that again.
Yeah.
Just to make that money
Yeah.
again. But it is a great deal for the team, an insane deal to keep basically 2 wide receiver ones on your team, like Cody was saying. The secondary, they're really having some turnover here. For years, it's been Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker on the back end, and now bringing in Jaelan Thompson for some big money from Arizona. He's been good. He's been the reason that Dadrian Taylor-Demerson has not been on the field, but Jaelan Thompson still played really well, so it's not like you can blame him for that. PJ Locke has also had an up-and-down career in Denver, but pretty solid overall. Kobe Durant hopefully brings some outside corner stability, because right now you're starting Siobhan Ravel on the other side, and he got absolutely toasted last year coming off his ACL injury. A guy who was rumored to go in the first round ended up dropping to the third because of the injury concern, and we see exactly why. Rashawn Gary, I've never really been a Rashawn Gary guy. He's about as inconsistent as they come, and he's no Micah Parsons, but you're not going to replace that guy. So, I don't know. I guess a 4th-round pick isn't super expensive, but they still have work to do, a lot of work to do on the defense.
The New York Giants, they re-signed wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins, offensive lineman Jermaine Illuminor, thank you, to a 3-year, $39 million deal with $25.45 million guaranteed. Offensive lineman Evan Neal, linebacker Micah McFadden, and they signed fullback Patrick Ricard, wide receiver Calvin Austin III, wide receiver Darnell Mooney, tight end Isaiah Likely to a 3-year, $40 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. Linebacker Tremaine Edmonds signed a 3-year, $36 million deal with $23.7 million fully guaranteed. Cornerback Greg Newsome II, safety Jason Pinnock, safety Ardarius Washington, kicker Jason Sanders, and punter Jordan Stout.
Yeah, so I'm going to speak collectively for the group here when I say Isaiah Likely, baby. Come on. Harbaugh brings him with him, and he's finally going to get to be the tight end one like he's deserved to get. Never really got the chance in Baltimore behind Mark Andrews, but now the runway's clear. Last season, Jackson Dart and Harbaugh were looking to the tight ends often in the red zone. If it wasn't Theo Johnson having a good game, it was Daniel Bellinger and vice versa. So I think that Isaiah Likely is going to take over that job. I'm guessing Theo Johnson's still going to get some run here and there, but I think that Harbaugh recognizes that my time in Baltimore, this guy was excellent. He was underrated, and we're going to get a killer deal on him here and bring him in. He turned him into an absolute weapon alongside the rest of these guys on offense that are stellar. And I think this offense is going to start to look really good, like one of the top 10 offenses in the NFL next year. So love to see that.
You know who else was an absolute weapon for Harbaugh for years?
Tell me.
Patrick Ricard.
Yeah, baby.
He's coming in probably solely to save the brain of Scatabo.
Yeah.
Take the brunt of the hit. At least the first one. Scat, get your head trauma downfield, please. Not in the line. This is incredible that this guy keeps getting deals. He's just that good at the fullback position.
300 pounds.
You don't see it. And he just, you know what? Harbaugh's like, hey, bud, you want to come? He's like, yeah. Sure, I'll come freaking run my 300-pound self into people all day long. It's just awesome to see. I think it's a great story, and he's just a solid player all of the time.
Yes, he really is. I still want another corner addition outside of Greg Newsome. Paulson Adebo was solid last year. Drew Phillips had a little bit of a down year. I think he'll pick that back up. I like the versatility of Ardarius Washington coming from the Ravens. This is now the New York Ravens, by the way.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney, he had his flashes in Atlanta. I'm excited to see what he can do working as a number 2 behind Neighbors. Jason Pinnock, he spent a year in San Francisco, and then he came back to New York. Guess he sees some hope here. And Tremaine Edmonds is now going to be the leader of this defense. Mm-hmm. We no longer see an Okereke here. So I think this team is going in the right direction with John Harbaugh, and I'm excited to see it. Mostly excited about Isaiah Likely.
Definitely. The Philadelphia Eagles, they re-signed tight end Dallas Goedert to a 1-year deal worth $7 million, fully guaranteed. Defensive tackle Jordan Davis to a 3-year, $78 million contract extension that has $65 million guaranteed. And punter Braden Mann, they signed running back Damian Pierce, wide receiver Marquise Brown, tight end Johnny Munt, tight end Stone Smart, linebacker Arnold Ebiketie, and corner Jonathan Jones and corner Tariq Woolen signed a 1-year, $12 million deal, fully guaranteed, with a max value of $15 million, and safety Marcus Epps. And in a trade, they got quarterback Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket himself, from the Panthers in exchange for a 2027 7th-rounder.
The exciting whites are gone.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some draft foreplay in this.
Ooh.
We haven't done safeties yet. Maybe they bring in Dylan Thieneman to bring back the exciting whites.
Ooh.
But besides that, I feel like the loudest news in Philly right now is what's going to happen to A.J. Brown. And everyone keeps freaking out over these moves, saying this is a sign A.J. Brown's gone. And I'm going to talk about that real quick. Dallas Goedert bringing back on a $7 million deal. Everyone, lots of people, I should say, thought he was going to leave. But they're bringing him back. Everyone's like, they're bringing him back, so A.J. Brown's gone. And then they put some more fuel on the fire. They bring in Hollywood Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a great signing for the Eagles. I really do. Because Hollywood Brown is a guy that's always been explosive, but he's just had some problems here and there, and he's never been able to put together, whether it's injuries or being stuck behind some other guys. But I think that he's gonna get some run here, and if A.J. Brown does leave, then he's gonna be able to put up numbers beside Devontae Smith. And then also just these other random tight ends, Johnny Munt and Stone Smart, both showed that they can do things. Johnny Munt was good on the Vikings for a little while. Stone Smart had some flashes in L.A. with the Chargers, and I think that having these 3 tight ends, they're really embracing that 12 or even 13 personnel to run the ball.
So, pretty much. They got to fill the void of those guys that they lost in the secondary. So to bring in Tariq Woolen on a 1-year deal, solid pick, simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Solid
I
pick
completely
up.
agree. Yes,
Yeah.
completely agree with that. I'm curious about the Andy Dalton signing. I've heard some rumors that maybe they try to get a little something out of Tanner McKee, see if he brings in some trade values. I've heard rumors of like Howie Roseman wants a 2nd or a 3rd round pick back for Tanner McKee, which is pretty crazy. With teams very needy for quarterbacks and wanting like at least 2 solid quarterbacks in this era of the NFL where quarterbacks go down, and we see a lot of backup quarterbacks play meaningful time.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to happen now with this Andy Dalton. I can't imagine that they keep 3 quarterbacks, and they're definitely not going to cut Tanner McKee. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we see Tanner McKee in a different uniform in 2026.
Interesting. The Washington Commanders, they re-signed quarterback Marcus Mariota, running back Jeremy McNichols, wide receiver Treylon Burks, offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil to a 2-year, $60.2 million extension, including $52.65 fully guaranteed. Offensive lineman Nick Allegretti, O-lineman Andrew Wiley, offensive guard Chris Paul, edge Dietrich Wise, safety Jeremy Reeves, punter Tress Way, and kicker Jake Moody. And they signed running back Jerome Ford, running back Rashad White, wide receiver De'Ami Brown, wide receiver Van Jefferson, tight end Chigo Conquo.
There you go.
No, I'm not going to say his full name. It's
Chigoziem.
Yeah.
Chigoziem?
Chigosium? Sounds like some drug to have a commercial for. Take Chigosium.
That sounds exactly like that.
Yeah. Chiga Conquo signed a 3-year contract worth $27 million with $16.7 million in guaranteed. Edge Calevon Chason signed a 1-year, $12 million deal with $10.3 guaranteed. Edge Charles Amenahu. Edge Odafe Owe signed a 4-year, $100 million deal with $68 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Tim Settle signed a 3-year, $24 million deal with $12 million guaranteed. Linebacker Leo Chenal signed a 3-year, $24.75 million deal with $12.4 guaranteed. Corner Amik Robinson, safety Nick Cross signed a 2-year deal worth $13 million with $6.05 guaranteed.
Whew. Mixed emotions here, and I think I'm speaking for the group again.
Yeah.
First of all, Chig.
Boom. Good job, Chig.
We love Chig.
That'd
He
be
needs
Chig.
an opportunity. Get the ball in this guy's hands. He's explosive.
Oh, wait. Why did I clap?
But I know.
I take back my clap.
I know.
Fully retract my clap.
I led with that for a reason. I had to trick you guys into the clap before I said. But unfortunately, I think this means the end of Ben Sinnott, and that's unfortunate because Zach Ertz was holding him off for so long, and the guy that's going to replace him is going to be Chig. But I mean, hey, Chig is amazing, and after the catch, he's stellar. But
Not Ben.
it's sad to see Ben go. And then another move that I absolutely love, bringing in Nick Cross, because after they lost Jeremy Chin 2 years ago now, this team has not been the same. They tried Will Harris and Quad Martin. They were throwing so much spaghetti at the wall. It was all overcooked, hard as a rock, not sticking at all. So to bring in Nick Cross, a guy like this is the playmaker, short tackler. He can do it all back there. It's going to be huge for this secondary.
Yeah. Well, now I'm just bummed out. I don't want to talk about anything else.
Yeah.
But it is good for Chig. He's an incredible player. So they got a whole bunch of – they're still throwing spaghetti at the wall here. It's just spaghetti that costs a whole lot more here. They're throwing a lot of money around. They got the organic stuff here.
The opposite of what that guy ate off the road.
Definitely not. This ain't South Street spaghetti out here.
I love it.
That was not North Shore, by the way. North Shore is still nice.
Yeah, of course.
Even when the sun sets, North Shore stays nice.
Sure.
Don't cross the bridge. Bad things happen across the bridge.
If you're going to Pittsburgh for the NFL draft, which we will be, there's some advice for you being in Pittsburgh.
Don't cross the bridge.
Don't cross the bridge.
Especially after the sun sets.
There's so many bridges. People who are in Pittsburgh are going to have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't cross that. If you're coming from the north, don't cross any
Which
bridges.
bridge can't we cross?
None of them.
I'll say one person who no one else is going to say, but I like them bringing back Tress Way. He's an incredible punter who makes a huge difference in the game. A lot of these other guys, they're solid picks. I'll let Kean go into more depth if he wants to.
The offensive line, they're running it back with what they had last year. What?
Yeah, that's confusing. That's a good point.
This better be foreplay. I better be getting warmed up for something really nice. We better have a happy ending here coming in the draft. I swear.
Maybe they
I swear.
Maybe they signed Chris Paul from the NBA.
Oh my gosh. I'll move on. But Caleb Chason, he had a really nice year last year in New England. Good for him making some money here.
Yeah.
Dafe Owe, a lot of money for a guy who has never really lived up to his first-round draft cap.
A lot of years, too.
A lot of years.
There.
I like the Leo Chenal signing for $8 million a year, and for basically like a year and a half guaranteed. I like it. He's always been intriguing on the Chiefs and just hasn't really gotten a chance because of Nick Bolton, because of Willie Gay whenever he was there in his way. So Leo Chenal is going to get his shot here. I think I see a slight difference. I see a slight difference here in what they did last year. They brought in a bunch of old farts.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these guys are still young.
Yeah, I mean.
Like Chig, Odafe Owe, Leo Chenal, Nick Cross. These guys are all, this is like their second contract.
Yeah.
So these guys are still like 26 or 27, whenever all the other guys last year were like 30 plus.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
So,
And they lost some serious old here, too.
Oh, my
Zach
gosh.
Ertz gone. Leo Chenal sliding right in there for Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Debo. Did Debo go somewhere?
no,
Yeah.
still unsigned.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but I kind of like what they're doing on defense. I think they're taking steps in the right direction. There's still some work to be done. Offensive line, they better do a lot of work,
True.
or else it's going to be hell for Jaden Daniels. But we'll see.
Real quick, couple of years ago now, we talked about a running back room that was just throwing a whole bunch of crap on it and hoping that something at the bottom gets pressurized enough to make a diamond.
Titans.
Yeah.
It's the Titans.
Yes, that's kind
Yeah.
of what they're doing with their running back room here.
is.
Rashad White, Jerome Ford, Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt, Jeremy McNichols.
Man.
These are all a bunch of guys that are like, if I were to make a Madden, these are like your classic like 74 overalls.
Yeah.
Like they're not any better, but they're not any worse. And
Yeah.
put all four of them together, like is each one going to take it down here? I don't know what's going to happen, but
It's
Yeah,
like
good point.
It's like whenever people find washed up petrified wood, like it's like driftwood that turned into a rock. Like man, that's so cool. It's just a piece of wood.
yeah, exactly.
It's like
Yes.
beach glass. Like beach glass. Like that's just
Broken
a
beer bottle. yeah,
It's a freaking wash on the shore for 17 years.
yeah, yeah.
That's a good
Read
point.
between the lines.
Just a piece of wood.
The Chicago Bears moving into the NFC North here. They re-signed quarterback Case Keenum, offensive tackle Braxton Jones, defensive end Daniel Hardy, linebacker DeMarco Jackson, and they signed wide receiver Khalif Raymond, offensive lineman Jedrick Willis, edge Contavious Street, defensive lineman Neville Gallimore, linebacker Devin Bush signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with 21 guaranteed. Linebacker Jack Sanborn, corner Cam Lewis, safety Kobe Bryant signed a 3-year, $40 million deal that includes $25.75 million guaranteed. And in a trade, they got center Garrett Bradbury from the New England Patriots in exchange for a 2027 fifth rounder.
The Bears are a team that really didn't have a lot of holes to fill. They looked like a nice, well-rounded roster last year, but they bring in this center Garrett Bradbury. I think that he's filling one of their only needs on that offensive line. As that offensive line was pretty dang good last year.
Yeah, Drew Dahlman retired at age like 27 or something.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But left tackle still needs address maybe. But or no, they brought in Jedrick Wills to address the left tackle. So.
Yeah, and Trapillo was playing there last year. I think he got hurt. But
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're not giving up on him. He was a second-round pick last year.
Yeah, but overall, the offense is still looking just about as good as it was. Lost DJ Moore, so it's time for Roma Dunze, Luther Burden to step up, and then they bring in Khalif Raymond to
Also
kinda
a special teams weapon.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then just be that reliable third receiver. So it's time for the receivers to step up, and it's just business as usual for the rest of this offense.
Help me understand Devin Bush getting $10 million a year.
I'm as curious as you are. He was good in Cleveland.
Sure,
he was
yeah.
not good in Pittsburgh, and I wonder if it was because Cleveland. I mean, he always had help with him, whether it be JOK for his first year there, and then Carson Schwarzenegger for his second year there. Those guys, I wonder if they made him look good, and just the defense as a whole made him look good. If Myles Garrett made him look good, we will see, because there is no Myles Garrett on this team, and that is still a big problem. Get pass rushers. I don't
Foreplay, so
understand.
much.
So much.
Foreplay, lots of it for the
I
draft.
swear. I've told
Yeah.
them every year. To get you need to listen.
They don't listen.
Get pass rushers.
They think Montez Sweat's good enough.
They think.
Moving to the Detroit Lions, they re-signed linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez and corner Rock Yassin. Then they signed quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and running back Isaiah Pacheco, wide receiver Greg Dortch, tight end Tyler Conklin, center Cade Mays signed a 3-year, $25 million deal with 14 guaranteed. Offensive tackle Larry Borum, defensive end DJ Wanham, corner Roger McCurry, and safety Christian Ezien. And acquired in a trade, they got offensive lineman Juice Scruggs from the Texans, along with a 2026 fourth-round draft pick and a 2027 seventh-round selection in exchange for running back David Montgomery.
Yeah, not a lot of moves here, but one of the biggest moves was what Cody just said. So David Montgomery gone, and in with the new is Isaiah Pacheco. I think this is going to be a fairly seamless transition. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to continue being the playmaker, and then Isaiah Pacheco is just going to be that hard-nosed between the tackles guy to wear out this defense and take those hits and deliver the blows. So I think that it's a great move for Isaiah Pacheco, and then the Lions is just normal.
Yeah, I like them bringing in Cade Mays for that center position to take over for what's his name? Glasgow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glasgow.
I think it'll be a solid fill-in. The rest of their line still obviously pretty good, so I think just about anyone would have been decent enough there, but Cade Mays is a solid player, good money. I think it'll be a good fit.
Yeah, he was good in Carolina last year whenever he filled in as a starter and earned himself some money.
Yeah.
I think there's some draft foreplay here that they still need a left tackle. Right now, slotted in to start is Giovanni Manu, who was a player who came from British Columbia 2 years ago in the fourth round, where whenever they drafted him, everybody else is like, what?
Yeah.
Who? Yeah. So I think that they are probably going to attack there. I think the defense also still needs help. Roger McCreary should be a helpful nickel backer, but I still want to see more cornerback help because Terry Arnold, whether they want to keep trying him or not, he's not
cooked.
working out. He gets cooked. Gets absolutely cooked. So I want to see more help there. Also, I wanted to point out that Juice Scruggs might be one of the best football names I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Juice Scruggs. You
Such
hear
a
that,
good
you know
name.
he plays football.
Oh, yeah.
You know he's a lineman.
Yeah. Juice Scruggs. Speed.
Speed. Wonder if he's got any speed.
I think so. Oh, Penn State grad, by the way.
Nice. The Green Bay Packers, they re-signed offensive lineman Sean Ryan. He signed a 3-year, $33 million contract with $11 million guaranteed, and they signed wide receiver Sky Moore. D lineman Javon Hargrave signed a 2-year, $23 million deal with $10.5 guaranteed, and corner Benjamin St. Juste. And in a trade, they got Zaire Franklin from the Colts in exchange for defensive tackle Colby Wooden.
Bringing in Zaire Franklin here.
Yeah.
Good move for them. Pretty much just replacing Quay Walker.
Yeah.
But this is just going to be a great linebacker room again with Zaire Franklin and Edgerrin Cooper. And then wherever Micah Parsons is, he's going to be good back there as well. So good move, just replacing a guy that left.
Agree with you. No further comment.
Yeah, Zaire Franklin allows Edge Cooper to really be more of that roaming linebacker. Zaire Franklin will kind of handle all the run stuffing and the run stopping and tackling, and Edge Cooper can really just do what he does best and just anticipate.
Yeah.
And yeah, they haven't really done a whole lot else, so there's not a whole lot to comment on. They do need corner help though, and Benjamin St. Juste I don't think will be all of it.
Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings, they re-signed quarterback Carson Wentz, running back Aaron Jones. He is signing a revised contract that lowers his base salary from $9 million to $5.5 million, keeping him there through the 2026 season. And they also re-signed linebacker Eric Wilson to a 3-year, $22.5 million deal that includes $12.5 fully guaranteed. And they signed quarterback Kyler Murray to a 1-year deal worth $1.3 million, and corner James Pierre and punter Johnny Hecker.
What a downfall for Kyler Murray, man.
Yeah.
I mean, starts out as a rookie, just absolutely electric. Career falls down from there. Now he's signing 1-year deals for $1.3 million.
Well, that's because he's getting paid so much in Arizona.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
Basically
but,
take vet men.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this quarterback room is the same as the Commanders' running back room. That's just a bunch of piles of. I wouldn't say these are doo-doo, actually. These guys they're like garbage bags, you know.
Okay.
On the inside, sometimes people throw away stuff that still has value in it.
True.
But it's just like it goes to the garbage man either way. So it's like we have Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, the legend of Max Brosmer. So it's going to be a battle between these guys to see who gets the starting job, assuming it's going to be Kyler Murray. But who really knows with Kevin O'Connell. But it's going to be interesting to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, getting James Pierre for that type of money, he proved himself last year in Pittsburgh. He honestly had a very solid year, so I think it's a solid pickup for their corner room. It shouldn't be outstanding, but it's not going to be terrible.
Yeah, he was one of the top performing corners according to PFF's metrics last year.
Wow.
He was fantastic. Aaron Jones, I am kind of concerned about this run game. Last year we saw Aaron Jones couldn't really stay healthy. Jordan Mason had a fumbling problem all of a sudden, and they didn't address it at all. I wonder if they're going to address wide receiver also some more, because I've heard some rumblings that Jordan Addison and his off-the-field issues, that guy loves driving drunk. I wonder if he's not.
Fast and drunk.
And drunk. I wonder if he's not the long-term solution there. And Ty Felton did absolutely nothing last year. We could have told you that was going to happen. We did tell you that was going to happen. So.
Yeah.
Also, Johnny Hecker's a good punter. Punter love, baby.
Man, he is a good punter, isn't he? Fantastic.
He was used a lot with 9 in there.
He was used a lot with 9. Moving to the NFC South, starting it off with the Atlanta Falcons. They re-signed tight end Kyle Pitts. He got the franchise tag, which will pay him $15.045 million for the 2026 season. And they also signed quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to a 1-year deal worth the vet min. And wide receiver Jahan Dotson signed a 2-year, $15 million deal with $10 million fully guaranteed. Wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus signed a 2-year, $4.5 million deal with $2.3 million guaranteed. Tight end Austin Hooper, edge Samson Abukum, edge Aziz Ojolari, defensive lineman Deshaun Hand, linebacker Christian Harris, kicker Nick Folk, and punter Jake Bailey. And in a trade, they got safety Sidney Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles and a swap of multiple late-round picks. And the Falcons received Brown in 2026 4th and 6th round selections, while the Eagles received 2026 4th and 6th round picks.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the draw is here to Sidney Brown. As they already have 2 elite young safeties in Jesse Bates and Xavier Watts. Billy Bowman can play back there as well. But anyways, Tua Tagovailoa. To continue talking about these elite quarterback battles we're going to get to witness.
Woo!
For whatever reason, the Falcons, they must love Michael Penix. They really do. So much so that they had to get pretty much his replica. They just love these left-handed quarterbacks with no knees left. And it's like he's 1 game away from retirement.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know what the draw is to these guys, but I'm assuming that Michael Penix Jr. is still going to have the starting job going into camp, and it's Tua's job to earn. But I think that it's going to be a good battle once again.
Yeah, I don't mind them bringing in wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus. He's back. He's back, and he's been solid at his last few stops, too. He's that seemingly ever-reliable receiver where they'll be marching down the field, and then someone will catch a pass, and you'll have to rub your eyes and be like, was that Zaccheaus? Just made an incredible play. And, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to get him back in town and across the way from Drake London. I think it's a pretty solid pickup for only $2.3 million guaranteed.
Yeah, they also brought Austin Hooper back for some reason. I don't understand. I guess the one signing that I do like, I don't love the start to this offseason for the Falcons.
Oh, no. Did you buy out?
They're trying to make me jump off the ship. Yeah, how much would I get? How much would the payout be for me buying the Falcons for the last 2 seasons and now wanting to get out?
If you put $100 in, the payout's probably going to be about $7.25.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
it's looking rough. I do like...
Stay the course, bud.
I know.
Just leave it in there. It's kind of like the stock market.
Let it ride.
Yeah.
The legend's still there, tight end Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe James Pierce Jr. somehow gets out of his criminal case. But I don't know. They signed 2 edge rushers here, and maybe that's a little bit of foreplay that they're scared that that's not going to happen.
The worst kind.
But I do like Christian Harris coming from Houston. I think that he's a super athletic linebacker. Now they have 2 super athletic linebackers in Christian Harris and Divine Diablo, but that might not work as we see on the Steelers. Sometimes you just need a run-stuffing, hard hitter. So... I don't know, man. I do still love the secondary. I agree that I think the Sidney Brown trade was kind of unnecessary, but maybe they see something in him as a really good special teamer or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. Flip him to running back and he can do what Chase Brown does.
The Carolina Panthers, they re-signed linebacker Isaiah Simmons and safety Nick Scott, and they signed Super Bowl winning quarterback Kenny Pickett, running back A.J. Dillon, wide receiver John Mechie III, offensive tackle Rashid Walker signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with $3.215 million guaranteed. Center Luke Fortner, edge Jaelan Phillips signed a 4-year, $120 million deal with $80 million guaranteed. Linebacker Devin Lloyd signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with $25 guaranteed. And punter Sam Martin.
So the pass rush for the Panthers was always a problem, and Nick Scorton did a little bit for that, but not a lot. So this offseason, they decided to go out and get Jaelan Phillips for huge money.
Yeah,
Large.
Absolutely huge. $30 million a year, $80 million guaranteed.
Whew.
I hate it. Now, I do love the guy, and when he's on the field, I think he's outstanding. But this guy's just so injury prone. When he was on the Dolphins, he was outstanding until he's injured. Same thing with the Eagles, and then hopefully it's not rinse and repeat for the Panthers again. But I understand that they're desperate for edge rusher, and this was like one of the top guys on the market. But I just think it's too much money for too much risk.
Yeah, I think you've got a really good point there. Devin Lloyd signing here, I think is pretty solid. Keen, help me out.
Yeah, Devin Lloyd had a really good year last year. He was one of the highest graded linebackers according to PFF last season. He really, really did well as just a coverage player. He had some crazy interceptions that probably really inflated his value here because, as you can see, Carolina really paid up to get both of these defensive pieces.
A lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money. And I'll mention how they really went cheap to sign their new starting center as of right now, Luke Fortner, just a 1-year deal worth like $5 million. And then I had Cody read Rasheed Walker's contract because this guy was Green Bay's starting left tackle the past 2 seasons, and he's been pretty solid. And to get him for 1 year, $4 million, I thought was insane. And he's probably not the long-term solution, but Ike Ekwonu, their normal left tackle right now, is hurt. So he's going to be starting there to start out the season. And I thought that it was pretty solid. They just spent a lot of money on defense. So
They certainly did. The New Orleans Saints, they re-signed offensive lineman Dylan Radins and safety Julian Blackman, and they signed running back Travis Etienne to
H-N, I guess.
Yeah.
It's H-N now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you say it. He had to put the double blink.
Hold on.
Yeah, apparently he had a
Travis
press
H-N.
Yeah.
H-N.
H-N. That's what he said.
Devon's brother?
No, I mean,
Oh, it's different, so it's Etchen.
no. That's the spelling remains the
I
same.
know, yeah. It's pronounced the same.
I guess it's pronounced the same for some reason. Now
Travis-
he's back in the Bayou.
Travis H-N.
Yeah.
H-N.
In a press conference, he said that he tried to correct people and eventually just gave up. And now he wanted to set the record straight again. And they said it's said the same way as Devon A-Chain's last name.
H-N.
Trevor A-Chain Jr.
I hate it.
That's the correct pronunciation,
I hate it.
allegedly.
I hate it.
I mean, what does he know? You know?
What does he know?
That's going to hurt my brain for a while.
We have two
Yeah.
H-Hands and neither one of them are spelled the same?
Yeah. Neither one of them were spelled correctly either.
Okay, running back Travis H-N. Sorry, Travis.
Disgusting.
Signed a 4-year, $52 million deal with $28 million guaranteed. Tight end Noah Fant, offensive guard David Edwards signed a 4-year, $61 million deal with $45 million guaranteed. Linebacker Caden Ellis signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with $23 guaranteed. Then punter Ryan Wright.
Lots of draft foreplay here. Travis A-Chain. So this squashes the second favorite spot for Jeremiah Love, and that's the Saints, as they fill the running back room. Kamara's still there, but Kendrick Miller, Devin Neal, Andre Gesme, I guess none of them were tickling them the right way. So they bring in Travis A-Chain and fill that void. So I think that it's going to be good to take the load off Alvin Kamara as he is aging, but he still has his moments. But overall, I think this is about the right money for a running back of this caliber.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It is super interesting, so I'm really curious to see what happens in the draft for them now because, yeah, like you said, everyone was predicting that seemingly. And Travis H-N, this hurts
H-N,
my
yeah.
brain. H-N, he's a super solid player. I'm honestly surprised he got this type of money, in my opinion. But I think it'll be I think he'll be a solid player there. Like, he's always been solid. He's flown under the radar the past few years, but I think it'll be a good spot there in New Orleans.
David Edwards is a really good signing to add to an offensive line that performed really well last year, stealing him away from Buffalo. So I think that he adds a piece that now they're looking really, really well. They're on the either end with their tackles. They're both two really young guys, and in the The interior O-line, they have some good veterans. And I wanted to say, Caden Ellis makes me really sad that he's leaving Atlanta because he's maybe the best blitzing linebacker in the NFL. He was definitely their best form of pass rush, just coming from the second level. So I'm pretty bummed about that, but he goes back to his original team.
You know what bums me out even more than him leaving Atlanta?
What?
Him taking the spot from Danny Stutzman.
Yeah.
Perfect
Son of
opportunity with Demario Davis retiring.
Yeah.
The Cowboy caller himself. And then Caden Ellis comes in and ruins that. So.
I don't think Pete Werner's a long-term solution there. I don't think he'll be there too much longer. And Danny Stutzman will get his chance. Please.
Please. Can't handle any more bad news today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they re-signed tight end Cade Otton to a 3-year, $30 million deal with $20 million fully guaranteed, and they signed quarterback Jake Browning. Running back Kenneth Gainwell signed a 2-year, $14 million contract with $9.83 guaranteed. Edge Al-Qadim Muhammad, defensive lineman Ashawn Robinson, linebacker Alex Anzalone signed a 2-year, $17 million deal with $12 million guaranteed.
Cheap here for Kenneth Gainwell compared to for what he did last year. He was absolutely electric, but I don't really see the philosophy here. I see him as not really the bruising guy that would pair well with Bucky Irving, but maybe they just want a passing guy on the field at all times. And they get that with Kenny Gainwell, and then to bring in Jake Browning along with or behind Baker Mayfield, I think that's a good, safe quarterback that's going to be great if Baker goes down because he probably will go down with his play style. So
you never know.
That's going to keep him in contention in the games without Baker.
I like them bringing in Anzalone. He's a super solid linebacker, and he's going to take the place here of like a Deion Jones or a Anthony Walker Jr. So I think it's a solid, or Levante David, obviously.
Yeah.
But Anzalone's just been a solid year after year player. He's had some big games here and there, but I think he'll be a good fit down there in Tampa. He just seemingly has success with those luscious locks of hair.
Yes, he does. The Kenny Gainwell signing, I'm also confused by. I don't know what kind of role him versus Bucky Irving are going to play. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't know who's going to be the early down guy, who's going to be the receiving guy. Really don't know. Cade Otton, I think he just got this much money because he has the ability to block. He's nothing special, nothing electric, but he has been solid for them for years, and I feel like solid is the best compliment you can really give to him. Anzalone, if Levante David does really retire, which it's kind of looking that way right now, Anzalone has some big shoes to fill.
Sure does.
And he's got no linebacker help with him because Servassier Dennis has been ass.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Couldn't cover a spider on the table.
Yeah. I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Sure.
His coverage ability is terrible.
Yeah.
All right, we're wrapping this up with the NFC West, starting it off with the Arizona Cardinals. They re-signed D-lineman L.J. Collier, punter Blake Gillikin, and kicker Chad Ryland, and they signed quarterback Gardner Minshew. Running back Tyler Algier signed a 2-year, $12.25 million deal with $8 million guaranteed. Wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver Devin Duvernay, offensive guard Matt Pryor, and offensive guard Ike Siamalu signed a 3-year, $31.5 million contract with $19 million guaranteed. Offensive guard Elijah Wilkinson, D lineman Andrew Billings, D lineman Roy Lopez, and safety Andrew Wingard.
Lots of spaghetti here.
Yeah.
and some of it is exciting spaghetti. It's kind of like they got that mixed colored pack for Halloween. It's like got the green and the purple and the yellow and the orange noodles in it because there's some pieces I'm actually excited about here, but I'm going to just touch on Gardner Minshew. I think this is a great insurance signing in case Jacoby Brissett becomes Jacoby Brissett again. And they said that Jacoby Brissett is the starter. They're just bringing Gardner Minshew as a backup, and Jacoby Brissett has every opportunity to keep the job, but I think that's a great move by the Cardinals to bring him in. And then I'm going to touch on Andrew Wingard real quick as well because he's a guy that last year on the Jags, he was excellent, I would say, as a safety. And to bring him in with Budda Baker and then Dadrian Taylor Demerson, I think that he can provide a sense of like a veteran presence back there in the secondary and even be a playmaker back there as well. So I think this secondary of the Cardinals is looking mighty fine. Let's get some pass rush now.
Yeah, that'd help. Kind of a sad day in the running back room for you guys. for some of your guys here with the signing of Tyler Algier.
I do like Algier.
Yeah, and I love Algier. I'm a huge fan of him. I've been a fan of his game. He's just always, when you think of Algier, you think of a guy that's going to make the play every single time, super reliable, and just gets the job done. So I think this is a great opportunity for him, for one, because James Conner is not going to be there forever. He's obviously not a superstar type of running back at this point in his career. So I think bringing him in, this might open up a new type of play style for Algier. Like, you might have to do a little bit more here and there and not just be in the shadows of somebody. So I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, Algier might be one of the most underrated running backs in the league.
Yeah.
Love Tyler Algier. I'm really excited that this might be the best quarterback combo in the league here.
Man.
Maybe most exciting. This Arizona Cardinals seem like another team that, much like the what team are we talking about? The team that Dolphins. A team that's just kind of throwing this year in the toilet.
Yeah.
And hoping that they can hang on for another year, just get some good picks, and we'll see where they take it from there. But none of these guys are really going to move the needle this year, and I think that they're
they excite me. Gardner Minshew, Tyler Algier, come on.
Yeah,
Man,
I guess
Andrew
so,
Whitney,
yeah.
Fire me up.
Yeah,
But it is like the expectations are set low, so it's like you're like, that's exciting because you're the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. I do like Kendrick Bourne. I think he's underrated too.
yeah. Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, these guys are gonna look real good on this team.
This is like
compared to the rest of the team.
This is exactly like starting your 6, 7, 8 players off your bench.
Yeah.
Instead of your starting 5, you got your 6, 7, 8 coming out. Like, all right, let's see what happens here.
I don't
we
know.
we know they can play, but it's like
All the analysts are gonna talk them up. They're like, "Hey, that number 8 guy, he's actually like really good."
yeah, yeah,
He's like, "Oh yeah, why is he number 8?"
yeah. All right, moving to the LA Rams. They re-signed tight end Tyler Higbee, and they signed corner Jaelan Watson to a 3-year, $51 million deal with $34 million guaranteed, and safety Cameron Curl signed a 3-year deal worth $36 million. And acquired in a trade, they got corner Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs in exchange for a 2026 first-round pick, 5th round, and 6th-round pick, as well as a 2027 third-rounder. McDuffie signed a 4-year, $124 million contract extension with $100 million guaranteed.
The Rams continue to just throw away first-round picks on corners.
Goodness.
But this was a huge day of huge free agency for the Rams secondary. I'm going to touch on the probably least exciting of the three, and that's Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl last year had a great season. He was a tackle machine all over the field, and I think it's great to bring him back to pair him up with Cameron Kitchens once again, because he was one of the bright spots of their secondary all year long consistently.
The two Cams.
Cams. Yeah, I'll let Kean get into more details, but I do love that they're working on their secondary here, like signing their kind of, I won't say resurrecting, but, kind of shoring up that room a little bit, and because obviously their offense made it work last year, so why fix it if it ain't broken?
Yeah. It was either make these moves or you're starting Emmanuel Forbes next year again, and that first-round pick bust from Washington has obviously failed. So bring in two Chiefs corners, and again, as I touched on earlier, how Spags wins is he gets pressure on the quarterback using his blitzing. Well, this team has a fantastic pass rush with Byron Young and Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. So I think that this might work. I think if the Rams just kind of have watched how the Chiefs have won over the past few years, not really this past year, but their Super Bowl years, it's been with these corners up in receivers' faces while the front seven just wreaks havoc on the quarterback. And that's what they want to be, I guess. They want to win those Super Bowls like the Chiefs did, and they got really close last year, but close doesn't win you a ring. So they're going all in yet again. F them picks, as Les Snead said.
Man, yeah.
Winning now.
Did he say that?
No, that's what his shirt said.
Yeah.
Oh, they won the
actually?
Super Bowl. Yeah, it said F them picks. The year they
yeah.
won the Super Bowl.
That's funny. True, though.
The San Francisco 49ers, they re-signed kicker Eddie Pinheiro to a 4-year deal worth $17 million. That includes $10 million guaranteed. And they signed wide receiver Mike Evans to a 3-year deal worth $42.4 million with $16.3 million guaranteed. Wide receiver Christian Kirk. Offensive tackle Vidarian Lowe. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw to a 1-year $7.5 million deal with $6 million guaranteed. Corner Nate Hobbs and punter Corliss Waitman, and acquired in a trade, they got defensive tackle Osa Adigizua with a trade with the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 third rounder.
Lots of draft foreplay here with the wide receiver room, but I have to touch on this special teams. Eddie Pinheiro last year, when he's had to step in there, he was excellent.
Fantastic,
He earned every bit of this contract, and I think that coming into this season, he's one of the best kickers in the league, honestly.
Yep.
And talk about taking the good with the bad. 49ers fans, you don't know what you're getting in Corliss Waitman. And I say that in such a happy voice because I'm so happy he's gone from the Steelers.
He's still better than Presley Harvin.
Yeah.
But that's a low bar to step
the
over.
lowest.
Yeah, so I don't know what they saw in Corliss Waitman. I mean, there's so many options out there with punters nowadays with Australia and New Zealand and all that stuff happening.
Yeah.
I don't know why they went to Corliss Waitman, but
oh man,
maybe just wait till after the World Cup this year and take one of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, maybe this is just a token of confidence in your offense to never punt, or it's you saying, "Come on, offense. Here's some extra motivation."
Yeah.
Look at our punter over there.
Please do not let us punt.
It did not work for the Steelers.
No, it did not, did it? So,
Scared tech.
yeah. So now the Niners are taking that chance.
Yeah, pretty much. These wide receiver signings are super interesting, obviously. Mike Evans, he's returning, but not with the Buccaneers. He's going to come over here to the 49ers. I think it's super interesting, but of course needed, especially after the Niners struggled so much with the receiver room last year.
3 years, too.
Yeah, 3-year deal.
3 years.
Impressive. And Christian Kirk getting in there. He's honestly, this is probably a pretty good deal. $3 million. Christian Kirk is a very solid wide receiver. He was injured sometime of recent. Yeah, lots of times.
Yeah.
So
All the time.
that's probably
First on Jacksonville, groin, and then
is that like collarbone or something?
last year might have been collarbone. I don't know. He had something going on. Maybe it was his knee as well.
Yeah.
Either way, if he can be an upright, halfway healthy receiver out there on the field for these 49ers that seem to struggle with that at all positions, I think it's a good pickup. But yeah, it's just very interesting to see those wide receiver pickups because I guess what the heck's happening with Ayuk? Is he?
He's not a 49er anymore. He won't be.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he definitely won't be. Mike Evans, it is, I guess, nice job by John Lynch to make this basically as far as guaranteed money, it's only $16.3 million guaranteed. So luckily, if Mike Evans does decide to retire, they don't get screwed.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw, baby, he's back.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed Dre Greenlaw didn't get a jersey of his whenever he was on the 49ers. That was whenever he was at his best. He went to Denver last year. He was hurt for a lot of the year, and then he was very on and off, and he was mouthing off to refs, and it was awesome. And now he's back.
Classic.
And I'm excited to see him with Fred Warner once he comes back. Two guys who are just coming off of injuries and ready to hit some people. So.
Man,
Tatum Bethune, too.
Tatum Bethune,
he was a stud
D.
for a while,
Winters. Yeah, this linebacking core last year they had to go like 5 or 6 or 7 deep.
Yep.
And now they have a solid top 4, and
Man,
they're probably going to need some more.
probably. Yeah.
Hopefully that electrical field study comes out soon.
Yeah, we hope. Also, it is nice that they got some pass rush help. Also, Odigizua from Dallas. He's
very solid player.
Yeah, very solid player, especially in pass rush coming from the inside.
Yep. The Seattle Seahawks, they
Buzz.
The Seattle Seahawks, they re-signed wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, Carson's guy, to a 3-year, $51 million contract with $34.73 million guaranteed. Offensive tackle Josh Jones, cornerback Joshua Job. Too many J's here going on. Josh Jones, Josh Job. Josh Job re-signed to a 3-year, $24 million deal with $14.25 million guaranteed, and they also signed running back Emmanuel Wilson and corner Noah Igbenogany.
Nice.
Boom!
I love that last name.
Rashid Shaheed.
Carson's
Rashid.
guy.
Jaid.
I love this
The
guy.
man of legend.
Yeah, he's special teams electric.
Yep.
As a wide receiver,
He's down there.
he
Down the field.
on the Saints he was electric, and then his usage has been going down and down. But he has his moments every now and again, and I think that if they use him, he could be great. This seems fairly expensive for a guy that didn't get used a whole lot when they did have him on the field, but maybe they value him on special teams that much. But the real question for me is, what does this mean for Torrey Horton? Because before Rashid Shaheed showed up, Torrey Horton was looking like should have been a first-round pick. He was looking stellar. Gets injured. Rashid Shaheed replaces him, and now he's down there on the depth chart again. So I don't know if he's just going to continue to live in that Jake Bobo lifestyle where it's like
Preseason All-American.
Yeah, it's like you're just good enough to stay on the team, and your special team sometimes, and just every once in a while you have like a 2-touchdown game. So I don't know what that means for him. And then Cooper Kupp is still there as well. So
Yeah, that money for Rashid Shaheed certainly kind of tells the story there to me. It's pretty interesting. He's definitely a solid player. Would I have guessed he got 3 years, $50 million? No, I probably wouldn't have, but he did. So that's kind of telling, I think, for what kind of role he's going to continue to play compared to some of those other guys back there. And I'll let Kean dive into his cornerbacks.
Yeah. So they lost Reek Woolen because he stink. He reek.
Yeah, he reeky.
But they did keep Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe had a career year last year, grading out very well according to PFF. And luckily they still have Devon Witherspoon. Nick Emenwari was fantastic in the slot. Cody called
Good job,
that.
Cody.
I
Yeah.
did not see that coming, but Cody did.
Boom.
Just a freak athlete who Mike McDonald had a lot of fun with in his defense. And honestly, looking at their defense, they didn't really lose too many pieces. So this defense is going to be staying good.
And, well said.
And the offense, they didn't really lose any pieces either. So, do we
Run
see?
it back.
Yeah, do we
K9.
see Seattle? I mean, we've seen and this is the third team now that, especially defensively, they're kind of running it back. If they have a good defense, like Broncos are basically running it back. Texans are basically running it back. Seattle running it back. So we might. If these defenses can stay consistent, which is tougher for defense because offense changes so much from year to year, maybe we see some great defenses again in 2026. So it's going to be exciting. Hell of an episode, fellas.
Yep. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. We'll be back with our Draft Brothers content. Next week. So stay tuned to that. NFL Draft is coming very, very soon. It's going to be very exciting. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next episode.